All right, gang, let's get started. Good morning, good morning. All right, so we have a special guest this morning. She's not only a work associate, a great professional in our industry, and one of our highest producers in the company, but she's also somebody I consider a dear, dear friend. She is a lovely lady, inside and out, and I am so excited to share her with you this morning. So without any delay, good morning, Trish Perez.
Good morning. Hello, everybody.
How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome. And I pray that all of you are as well.
Well, it's like you and I were talking, we take it one day at a time, but there are some good things happening. So, and I want to talk with you about that this morning. So let's kind of give everybody just an idea as to who Trish Perez is. Kind of just tell us a little bit about yourself, not in terms of the business, but just personally.
Okay. So different, right? Usually I just start talking about business. So who I am is truly a wife and a mom of 2 kids. And I have a 26-year-old who's now married, and I have a grandson. So they're like my life. That is my why on a daily basis. And then a grandson. And then I have a daughter, 23, who's now on my team, and she's a rock star. I'm so proud of her. And I have a lovely husband who I've been together with for 30 years. And that is my foundations. That is my rock. I'm a very spiritual woman. I love God with all my heart. And so I live daily for him. And so that's just a little bit about who I am. I've been in the business now for 20 years and loved it. I did it solely to be home with my kids. That was my driver. I'd missed too many events. So real estate allowed me to be there for my kids.
Cool. So what were you doing before real estate? I mean, probably what? Elementary school?
Love you. So thank you. That's why you're my best friend. I was in marketing for a company, and Fortune 500 company, and I was just climbing the ladder up. And then I was away from my family more and more. And so my husband is a planner. So he put a giant whiteboard, this is no joke, on our bedroom wall. Yes. And then we kind of went through strengths and weaknesses, and just like, so both of us could be home with our kids and what businesses we could start. So we could do that. And then it's all history from there.
So obviously you're on this call in this conversation because you're doing some great things and have, but kind of paint a picture for us when you got into the business, what business looked like for you.
Sure.
And maybe where you are.
I was blessed to be at a company where they created a position for me to go on a very minimal part-time basis. So they created a position for me to go from 8 to 2 Monday through Friday. So from 2 to 10, I was doing real estate every day just to get off the ground. It took me 17 months to replace my income that I had previously. And that was really my goal because we had to live. So, and I was giving up a really good salary. So that's what I did. And I remember the day because it was still the day of answering machines. And I remember I went back and there was like 18 messages on my answering machine. And I went home to my husband. I said, I think I could quit. I think I'm busy. So that's what that looked like. So it took me, didn't take me long to replace my salary, which I was so grateful for.
Well, it's interesting that you say that it didn't take you very long, because you said something in the beginning statement there that you found a company that was willing to work with you and gave you a position where you could work from 2 to what time?
So I worked from 8 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon.
Oh, 8 to 2.
Come home and work.
Okay. Which is interesting because that you didn't say it, but you said it, that you were treating it like a business, that you said that you found a company that gave you an opportunity to do this. So it sounds like you're treating this real estate thing that you're doing not as a hobby, but as a real job, a business.
Absolutely. And it's blessed my family, right? I've been able to send my kids to great schools, which was really important to me. And so this, if you do treat it like a business, it will bless you financially. So absolutely.
So speaking of business, so tell us about what your business looks like, because you had a fantastic year last year, and things, I think we've known each other for what, a little over 2 years now?
Yeah, I'm so grateful to have met you. So yes, it's been 2 years, and that was the best change I ever made. So those of you who don't know, I came over to the company 2 years ago, and it was the best thing I could have done. I'm just surrounded by friends who lift me up. So, so yes, my business has been great, especially since I came to this company. And right now, we're in the middle of a very different time, and I've had a great first quarter. Very thankful for that. But it shifted a little bit right now, right? We're just trying to close things because we're considered, those of you who don't know and aren't in Southern California, we're considered non-essential here right now. And so closing escrows being a non-essential business has been interesting to say the least, but it's doable with all the tools that we've been given to go virtual. So the last few years have been great years. I'm expecting this one to be as well. It's just going to look different for sure.
Well, so just very quickly, I want to confirm give them an idea of what your production was last year, whether it was volume or units. Do you remember any of that? Or are you just so focused on now and the future? Because we've talked about this before. It's like,
okay,
do you even know?
I hire a Jenny and Jenny knows all my numbers.
Yeah.
And so I did great. and, and I'm thankful. I can honestly tell you, I don't know my numbers.
Yeah,
I know that in the first quarter that so far I've closed 11 this first quarter. And I only know that because I'm trying to change my numbers for what's going to happen, kind of doing and adjusting on what we're going through right now.
Well, whether we're talking the Utah or California market, you sell a lot of homes and you're doing a fantastic job, and you're ranked one of the top agents in the world for Century 21. So, well, let's talk about it. You say you treat it like a business. So, first of all, I want to talk about the way things are normally structured, and then we'll get into, okay, how are you adjusting your approach, modifying your approach given today's world? So tell us a little bit about what your day looks like and how you're able to sell so much real estate.
So I used to be a sole proprietor, just a sole agent 4.5 years ago. And then I decided that to grow a team and truly just to leverage my business and to give me more freedom to be home with my grandkid. So that was the goal there. So now I have a team of 5. We have an office in Westlake Village. We are there every morning at 9 o'clock. I miss it. I miss going in. I thrive by being around other successful people. That's what drives me. So I'm highly competitive. So when I'm in an office where other people are working, it drives me to work. So I go in, we meet as a team. We meet every Monday morning at 9 a.m. We go over the weekend. We call people from open houses. We're a true believer in open houses. I connect well with people one-on-one. And so we're doing follow-up, and then we're doing prospecting, and then we're doing follow-ups on our deals. And it's worked quite well for us. And
so pause for just a second. So
sure.
That process that you just described there, is that a daily process? And if so,
Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So I have some part-time moms on my team. So Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, that's the process. And then Tuesday and Thursday are more free days. We still check in, but they're not as structured. And
okay. So let me ask you a question, because a lot of agents on the Zoom call are, in fact, the vast majority of them are not team leads or team members.
Yeah.
And so when you transition from a sole agent to a team, obviously in order to make that happen, you had to be doing specific things. You had to do certain activities to enable yourself to transition to being able to support a team. So
yes,
the process that you just described in terms of showing up to the office, prospecting, follow-up, and so forth,
yeah.
What did that look like for you as an individual agent?
Very, extremely different. So
Okay.
I had been very fortunate to do a certain amount of business. And this is just truly like probably for 8 straight years where I just made a certain amount of money. I counted on it by just serving, being a servant to my clients. I'm just going to be honest. I didn't do a ton of prospecting. I was just really good to my clients and very good at my job, and therefore got referrals. And so I did this certain amount of number that I really wanted to break from. And so this is a true story. So my kids had moved out and I was an empty nester. So I told my husband, I'm either having more kids or I'm blowing up my business. And he's like, please blow up your business. No more children. So
that was a team decision.
Totally. So hence I had to go and search and try to build a team. And I didn't know what that looked like initially. I wasn't with our company. I didn't have the guidance that I have today. So I hired some buyer's agents and that didn't work. And then I hired an assistant and that worked. And she gave me systems. And I have the most incredible systems now, which I did not have before. And so
pause 1 second here,
please.
just if I can. the thing that made the transition workable was not that you hired other people to produce, but rather you hired somebody to assist you in really allowing you to focus your efforts on the things that produce money, and shifted your focus from the things that don't produce money. But they're critical things, but they don't produce money.
Absolutely.
So
And
talk about that process then.
so she came in and she actually, so her name is Jenny. If you don't know her, she's wonderful. And
She's an amazing lady.
so
She's
thankful
fantastic.
for her. Yes.
Yeah.
And so she came in and she went through a 6-month training course on how to be a great assistant, and really just learned different systems. So contacting our database, we moved to a different CRM. What we would do for the clients throughout the transaction. She wrote bullet points on how to give exceptional service, how to get raving reviews at the end. She makes sure that every single one of my clients give a review at the end of our transactions. So she went through all of the systems that I did not have in place, I didn't naturally do, and now it's almost even my marketing, like start from the beginning of the listing of a home to the sale of a home, all of it is a system. It is a well-wired system that everybody.
Okay, so very quickly, for those who are listening who say, well, wait a minute, I don't have the production to afford hiring an assistant. Mm-hmm. The bottom line is that they can do this. They've just got to spend some time working on their business as opposed to working in the business.
Starting with a good CRM, a regular contact type of program to reach out to your clients once or twice a month. That was a gold mine that I had not been tapping into at all. And so that in itself was probably one of the biggest, we were just so thankful after that, because then
you said earlier that
already used you.
I'm sorry. Yeah. So you said earlier that you were not prospecting really. You just said you offered great customer service, which I know you do. I mean, because you are a very kind, caring, giving person. You do a lot of philanthropy, and people know that, they sense that, and so you get good responses from people. But you were maintaining contact with those people, so you were working with your sphere of influence.
Yes.
Correct. Okay.
Well, no. I mean, I was the person that truly apologized for not getting in touch with my clients for a long period of time. Once I hired Jenny, I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to write an apology letter. Well, I was that agent.
Well, what you just said, everybody related to.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's true.
I'm getting the question asked, what CRM are you using now?
Yeah. So it's Brian Buffini's CRM.
That's okay. Yep. That's great.
Fantastic.
Okay. All right. No, he has a great system. I know he does. It's very, very comprehensive. So, okay, good. Okay, so then going back to the explanation, so that transition, you had Jenny help you in putting together systems and protocol. I know there are going to be a lot of people on the call who are going to continue to ask, well, what does each process or system look like?
Sure.
What's the one or two things that you can share in terms of that protocol or processes that she helped you with that really were the game changers or the difference makers for you, to allow you to go out and to do much higher production, whether a team or not? Share something that they don't have to have a team. It's like, if you do this, this is going to work. This will help you increase your production.
Absolutely. If you contact your sphere on a monthly basis or twice monthly, and whether that's email, phone calling, put in a system that gets handled, and you are contacting them once a month, and then also making them feel special. So that is a really important part of our business. So if you could write personal notes, I'm really big on personal notes. If you take 10 notes a week and drop them off to your client, and I'm not even don't talk real estate. Don't talk real estate. Just talk about them. Hey, I ran into your husband at the grocery store. It was incredible to see you. I hope you're enjoying your home. I do think of you often. Reach out if you ever need anything. Just personal notes. I sent out a personal note after our systems were started. I'll never forget this. And it was a woman who was a single mom of 3 kids. And I ran into her at the grocery store. And I remember thinking, wow, she's really rocking that motherhood. Like, I don't know how she's doing it being a single mom. And I was really touched by kind of the walk that she was in her life. And I went back and I wrote her a letter, and I wrote her that, and she called me crying. She said, you have no idea how much I needed to hear this today, Trisha. I needed to hear that I was doing an okay job and that I was going to get through this. And do you know how many people that woman refers me to? Everyone. Didn't have to do with real estate, just have to do with me seeing her, really seeing her and connecting with her. So I'd say the best bit of advice that I could give you is write personal notes to people and really care about who they are. See them for who they
So,
are.
so you really have to like people is what you're saying,
Yeah. I really do.
which you're exceptional at that. Okay, good. So let's transition. But before we do, I'm getting the question asked by several. Where did Jenny get trained as an assistant?
So well, Keller Williams has a
Yeah, she didn't just say that, ladies and gentlemen. That did not just happen.
there's a training system that we will give you the information to. So it was a system, a 6-month system that she had signed up for and that I paid for.
Cool. That's great. Okay. All right. So I want to just summarize some of the things we've talked about. Number one, you've said basically talk to your people and do it consistently. And you're leveraging a CRM. You're using the Buffini one, but there's so many of them out there, including the one that, of course, that we offer as a company. I don't really care which one's being used, but the bottom line is, guys and gals, you got to use a CRM. You got to have something that allows you to be consistent at maintaining contact with people. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. And,
Okay.
and it's
And
not just contact, it's the content. It needs to, in my opinion, and this is how I go about my business, you need to show that you care.
okay, how do you do that? How are you doing that? How do people know that you care?
I write notes on what's going on in their life. I'm very in tune with people and what they're going through. It cannot be about real estate for me. It has to truly be about how can I help you? I'm here to serve you. I have a servant's heart. That's who I am. And that's how I go about it. And it's worked for me.
You have a lot of clients. How do you remember all of that detail?
Write everything down. So in my CRM, we have the ability to write down personal notes. I know when their birthdays are, they get birthday brownies now that I can afford to do that. Before it was just a card. And it's not just a card. That's very, I mean, that means something to send somebody a birthday card. So in my CRM, we have the ability to track all of that, what age their children are. So I check in with them at their children's birthdays or whatever information I have on them. That's when we go ahead.
So consistency is key. And then of course, quality of the content matters as well. Okay. Very cool. Okay. All right. So let's talk about what things look like today, because obviously over the last 3 weeks, things have transitioned dramatically. You and I have had conversations about this. We talk consistently. So kind of paint a picture for us of, what impact this has had and how you're adjusting to it, given your business. And I think everybody needs to recognize that where you are in Ventura County and specifically in Westlake Village and the surrounding markets there, that there is a much stricter mandate in place per the county where real estate is not considered an essential business. And so you don't have the ability to conduct business the way you normally had. Kind of explain what that looks like and how you're adjusting to that.
Certainly. So we are considered non-essential, which means we can basically not work except for virtually. We can be fined. We're being told regularly we have fines up to $7,000 that we can incur if we go show a home. So that is the reality of where I live right now in Ventura County. And so we have all been mandated to stay home. So we're all working from home and virtually. Everything is done now virtually. I did my first walkthrough virtually, and this was hilarious because I told the other agent, I'll take the lead, and like I'd never done it before. And so I went through all of the repairs that were done. I had the seller actually on Zoom walking through the property, showing the repairs, and then talking to both buyer, seller, and agent. I told them they had a half-hour time period. And so really, we're kind of writing what these new rules are. And so if now is a time to lead in this industry like I've never seen it, we have got to take the lead because nobody knows how to do this. And so the agent called me afterwards and she's like, you were so good at that. I'm like, I was winging it. I didn't know what I was doing. But now guess what my policy for walkthroughs are? They're a half hour. We go through 6 checkpoints, right? I mean, the seller does them. So now I have a policy in place for walkthroughs because we have to go virtually in order to continue to close business.
Well, it is. And just to clarify, we've got, as you described, what it looks like for you in Ventura County. We have, of course, a lot of people on the call who are in Ventura County, but we have those in LA County where the restrictions are not the same. It's real estate is considered essential. And so the process is different. And it's much more like what it is in Utah. But
okay.
let's talk about then how are you dealing with the response of clients? What are they saying? What are your conversations today?
So when we went, so I've been on the stay-at-home order for almost 4 weeks. So we've been home for almost 4 weeks.
How's
And
that working out for you?
uh,
Are you stir crazy?
oh, wow. I am so thankful that I have my tools every morning, which is I go to the Bible every day for strength, because this has been really hard to transition. I'm a people person. I love people. I'm energized by people, and I'm sitting in, 4 walls. So I'm going crazy. But I do want to say, so what that has looked like is I had a lot in the pipeline, thank God. And when this started to shift, we start shifting really quick. And, when the governor said, okay, you guys can no longer leave the house, I'm thinking, all right, so if we're considered non-essential, pretty soon escrow and title and the county are going to close. And so that was my feeling, was I have to close every escrow that I have right now as quick as possible. So that's what I've been doing for 4 weeks, is I have just been in regular communication with the buyers and the sellers saying, we need to move this quicker than we had originally agreed upon or anticipated. And these are the steps in order to do that. And that is just in my gut what I felt was the right thing to do. And so they followed, right? They followed my lead. It's been difficult though. So I am a great communicator. I love people. It's probably my one gift. I have many weaknesses.
You're exceptional at it.
Obviously, I didn't even
you come
know
across caring.
how many deals I've done. That's my weakness, but my strength is people. And so I was saying, like, okay, to lead these people through this, their whole lives are changing. People are losing their jobs. Their husbands are losing their jobs. Their children are no longer at school. And so they're homeschooling. So normal conversations to get someone off a ledge of, there's termites has completely changed. You have to know that when you make a phone call to a buyer or seller right now, you're going to spend an hour to an hour and a half on the phone with them, because they're not just dealing with real estate right now. Their whole life has changed, just like all of us across the world.
Right.
We have all adjusted. And so you have to go from a place of empathy, understanding, and then back to leadership. I don't know what this looks like, but I am sharing with them what I do know is things are changing hourly. So follow me. Let me guide you through this and let me get you to the close, because that's the house you want to be in. And truly, if it doesn't work for their family anymore, telling them that this time, maybe right now, you're too unsure and maybe you don't move forward. It's just being authentic with them and leading them. And it's been challenging, and I am learning so much, John, which has been really cool.
We all are.
Bettering my people.
One day at a time, right? Because everything is so dynamic.
At a time.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yep. So one of the interesting dynamics of the world, the way it's structured today, is that people are really a captured audience. And so you're finding, as we've talked about this, that people are more readily available, and not only available, but you just said it, that they're more interested in having conversations.
Yes, they need it. They need it because especially if you're in the middle of an escrow or going to begin an escrow. I had 3 people call me to list their homes, and I'm like, we're non-essential, but am I going to ever tell someone I can't help them? No, let me figure out a way to help you. Is it a little bit more challenging? Of course it is. I'm considered a non-essential business, but we're going to figure out a way to help these 3 families get to where they need to get, but with a servant's heart. I am not doing this like, oh, I got to get deals in the pipeline. I am doing it right now to help people, because if you just look around at what's going on, you just have to be aware and extremely sensitive. I do regular marketing. I actually hire a company. 5 years ago when I hired Jenny, I hired a social media company that did all my social media. I halted everything, not because I want to stop marketing, because I have to market sensitive. I got to be so sensitive to the people and their situation. I mean, so many of my clients.
So critical right now.
It's so critical, you guys. And so many of my clients have lost jobs. Check in with them about that. How can I help with that? So,
well, as much as we as agents are dealing with our own personal issues, right? The one thing that we do understand is real estate and how to navigate it in today's world. And so when we call them, they not only have the same issues that everybody's dealing with, from the virus to the economic impact, and then also the stress of, I've got this house and these circumstances here, whether it's a financial issue, a familial issue, a job issue, and they really do. It's critical right now that they have leadership, and it's up to us to do that, to offer that. And what I'm finding is there's such gratitude with people where we're reaching out to them. They want us. They're thirsting for it. They need it.
They do. And truly, one, because they're locked in the home and they're like, oh, somebody to talk to. The phone rang.
So you just said they're so desperate that they'll actually talk to a real estate agent.
And if you're calling and just checking in on how they're doing with homeschooling, I mean, imagine, thank God my kids aren't home. I mean, to all you moms who are doing that, my heart goes out to you. It's not easy, and to be working and to still be putting food on the table. So just checking in with that. How can you help with that? They will never forget you if you check in just for that.
So let's talk about, because you've talked about the clients you have and trying to keep them in the transaction, facilitating those, expediting those because the world's uncertain.
Yeah.
What does it look like for you in the business capture realm? Trying to find people who are looking to buy and sell. What are they saying, and how are you responding to what they're saying? So people are saying, should I do something now? What should I do? What are you saying to people when they're asking, should I buy? Should I sell?
So I'm actually asking more questions of them. Like, what's your driver right now? Where are you headed? Why are you in the middle of a pandemic? Are you calling me to sell your, $2 million home? Truly, like, where are you going? And so once I hear what their need is, if someone's in a financial, quandary, I mean, of course I'm going to help them. They have equity now and they're thinking they won't have equity down the line, or not have a job, or not have the income. I have to get them out now and get them as much money as possible. So the answer to your question is, I'm just responding individually. So whatever that person needs. I am hearing a lot of fear. Oh my gosh, I've bought another house in another state, and now this. Don't worry. We're going to be able to get your home on the market. We'll do virtual tours. We'll get your home sold. And so I'm just kind of really, it's on an individual basis, and depending
so
on
this is critical. What I hear you saying, and guys and gals, listen to what she just said, because this is, I would say, out of all the things that Trisha said this morning, one of the most important things is that when you are communicating with people and they're asking you questions, rather than just simply knee-jerk reaction, giving them an answer, ask more questions to understand their motivation to asking the question, and really what's going on with their psyche, and whether it is a good time. Because you could have customer Joneses asking that question, and based upon their personal circumstances, it's absolutely based upon your personal and professional opinion that they should move forward. Whereas the Smiths ask that question, you discover more about their circumstance, and you may say, you know what, you probably should wait. So you're discovering more about their circumstances rather than just giving a blanket answer of yes, it's a great time, or no, it's a horrible time. You discover more.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And we're, this is uncharted territory. This is all things that are new to us. So when they ask me to describe what that looks like, I'm like, I'm going to go write that up and then I'll send it over to you, because, they want a plan on how I'm going to sell their house. I'm going to go write it and I'll get it back to you. But yes, we have to listen to what their needs are. And if they have to get out now, even with non-essential business, we have to help them now. I just don't know exactly what that looks like yet.
Right. Well, we know though that we can transact business even though we're considered non-essential, because you're still listing homes. We're still putting homes under contract, and we're still closing them. As you said, we just have to navigate and make certain we understand what that looks like, and help them understand that so that they can move forward confidently. That's really the key. So I'm getting the question asked that the marketing, that you had shut down marketing. Are you doing anything in terms of marketing, or what is marketing?
Oh gosh, yes. I'm sorry if that was, so no, I shut down marketing that's like canned marketing that was just regularly going out, because any material that goes out right now has got to be sensitive to what the world is going through. So no, I am personally doing our own marketing now, because I need to have a little bit more control of it. I lost all that control, and I was fine with giving that up for another company to do that. But right now, with what is going on, it is truly all of our messages that are going out. They're going out on social media. They're going out via email. I'd be glad to send you the email that I send out to all my clients, and will continue to do so. But social media is just, how can we help you? We are here. We are closing business. However, we're doing it where we're following all the rules. We're adapting and but adhering to what we're being told that we have to follow. So
Right.
that is what the marketing that we're doing right now, social media, and to our clients, to our sphere.
So you didn't stop marketing.
No.
What you did is you stopped paying third parties and you've taken direct control over the messaging to make certain that the message is consistent with what people need and want to hear right now.
Absolutely. What I feel is the need in our community right now, which is truly just to go out there and serve the community.
Well, I think that right now we've got to be careful with that because, people have their perspective and attitudes towards real estate agents as it is. But then we've got to be really extra sensitive right now, given with what's going on in the world, both with the virus and with the economic impact that it's having on a lot of people, that we've got to be very careful about our message and the way we come across with people.
Yes.
And I think what you said earlier is so critical. Just simply, look, guys and gals, if anything, just checking in on people and seeing how they are they healthy? Do they have any needs? Is there anything that you can do for them? Very critical, because right now, this is where we have an opportunity to build these relationships, because this business is not about houses, it's about people. And the better we are at connecting with people, whether people we don't know or people we do know, and building those relationships, the better off they will be. And as a result, the better off we will be long term. So critical stuff.
Absolutely. Reaching out to your neighbors. I mean, your home. If you're following the rules and regulations, your home. Reaching out to your neighbors and just saying, and I mean, walk up to the door, walk 10 steps back. Hey, can I get your email? Can I get your phone? I just want to check in on you as a neighbor. I want to love my neighbors. That's a very simple way of just helping out your direct community. I never was a fan of Nextdoor, to be completely honest. I thought it was just, mom's griping on there. And now it's a way for me to really check in on how the community's doing.
Explain Nextdoor, because some people probably don't know what that is. So.
Of course. That's just a site. A Nextdoor is a site that's utilized in a lot of neighborhoods to communicate amongst neighbors. And it's not a site that I've ever really engaged in at all. And now I was engaging because we have a lot of people in our neighborhood who are suffering with COVID-19. And so I thought, wow, how can I help these people? I'm healthy. What can I do? And so I'm engaging now through Nextdoor. They don't know I'm a realtor yet, but they will. And so right now I'm just dropping, fruit cocktail. That's what this one woman wanted off on her doorstep. And another person, I'm getting their water heater fixed. And actually Jenny had somebody get their water heater fixed. So I'm just loving our neighbors. And eventually, will they remember that Trisha Perez is a realtor? Absolutely. But right now, I am just a neighbor helping out.
That's cool. That's great. Yep. So a couple more questions, and then we'll bring this fantastic conversation. And thank you so much for your time, Trisha. Really.
I love chatting with you.
It's been fun. So through this experience that we've had so far, what's the one thing, or two, but at least one thing that you've learned that is going to allow you to take that and maybe implement that or leverage that moving forward, regardless of what the world looks like? When we get back to whatever business as usual look like post-COVID, what's that thing or things that you've observed and you're going to take with you?
Gosh, I love that. There has been so many. If you don't know me via Zoom, if you know me in real life, I go really fast. I'm a fast talker. I walk fast. I talk fast. I never stop. I'm up at 6 a.m. I'm up until very late at night. I have a ton of energy. This has allowed me to slow down and focus like I have never in my life. There's these memes that come across that are like, well, God said, I'm going to take everything away and then you're just going to have to be quiet and still. I've learned to be quiet and still. And that has impacted me and will change me forever, because with that, I'm able to focus more on helping others, which I know will help my business. I know it will. And so I think that's been one major thing. I've always
could pause for just 1 second, because I'm really critical. And I want people to grasp this.
Yeah.
Quiet and still. How are you doing that? What does that look like for you? How are you getting, because what I hear you saying, you get centered and you get in the moment and allows you to focus and to get rid of the noise, because there's a lot of noise right now.
Oh gosh, I wake up, it used to be that I'd wake up and I had my, 25 things lined out for the day, and that's just not the case right now. So I'm waking up, I go immediately into what I listen to, which is worship music. That's turned on by 6 o'clock. And then I go into the Word of God. For me, it's the Bible. And then I journal quietly, and I talk about today. I am working on today. I have not done that before. Before it was like, okay, 30 days out, I got to do this many deals. I got to do this. I got to do this. Right now, I'm just working on today. And it's a really powerful thing. If you, Compound Effect, I don't know if you guys have ever read Compound Effect.
It's a great book, Darren Hardy, Compound Effect.
Yes,
Yeah.
such a great book. And it talks about doing one small thing today that in 1 year, the effects of it will just be huge. I am literally focusing on small things today that I know the effects are going to be so huge in 1 year from now. So it starts with journaling. I'm in the Word of God. I'm saying, okay, what do you want me to be today? Do you need me to be a leader today? Do you need me to be a follower today? Do you need me to just love? Do you need to bring me peace? Because guess what? I don't have it right now. I'm frustrated. I'm angry. I've been on the phone with clients for 11 hours, right? So it's just grounding me in a way I've really never been grounded. And I'm almost 50, and that's crazy to say, but it's true.
No, it's very cool. That's great. Thank you for sharing that. So I just, for whatever reason, I feel compelled to ask you this, because you and I have talked about your dad and the impact that he had on your life. So just share, what bit of advice would your dad give you right now, and what would he tell everybody given the circumstances?
Wow. So I get emotional. So I lost my dad 3 years ago, and he was my coach. So just to be completely honest, I spoke to him every day at 7 a.m. He told me I could go out and I could conquer the world. I could do anything. Just go out and be a light, be good to others. So he would say right now, quit focusing on you, because this can be scary, right? This is a kind of a frightening time. It's something that we never thought we'd go through. So he would probably say, take your eyes off of you and put them onto others, Trish. Just really see what others are going through, and then just go be you. That's probably what he'd say. So
Yeah, that is so critical. We talk about where confidence comes from and a strong mindset. One of the things that I always say is, aside from having clarity, having integrity, and participating in the right things, but I think one of the most critical things is contributing to other people.
Yeah.
Stop focusing on ourselves inwardly, we need to focus on ourselves, but the challenge is it can be a very selfish thing, because we get enveloped in that, and we stop seeing the people around us who need our help. And what I know, and what you know, and I see you doing it, is that you bring yourself to the situation, to the quote unquote emergency, with this confidence, but also with a sense of caring. People feel it, that you care. And as a result, people let you lead them. I'm fascinated. I'm impressed with what you do. I watch you work literally with rock stars. I mean, if people knew the caliber of people you've worked with. I mean, she's laughing. I mean, I don't know if you can say the names, but I'm not going to say it because I don't want to break any confidences. But you've worked with literally rock stars who
I just want to bring home to Christmas because I feel bad for them. I'm like, they need my help.
but then little old ladies that that live in a little home by themselves, and everybody in between. And you come to the table with this attitude of gratitude and the contribution, and it is serving you very well, and more importantly, it's serving them, and you benefit from that. So
thank you. I try
so much appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you.
Is there anything else you want to share with us before you go? Because it's been a fantastic, I've really enjoyed it. I don't know about you or everybody else, but I've had a great time.
Oh, I'm so grateful. I would just say, I would just love that we all just stay in contact with each other. Don't forget that we're isolated, but in this situation, but we're not alone. So we have to rely on each other. So I'm reaching out to my colleagues, to my friends, as I'm struggling with how to do this today in this hour. Reach out to those mentors that you have in your life, those people that you trust. I mean, you are the people you surround yourself with. And even though I'm not physically allowed to surround myself with people right now, I am surrounding myself with people that can pour into me so I could go pour into others. So I guess that's the best advice right now.
That's great.
Feeling isolated.
I try to remind people when I talk with them in coaching sessions, but as well remind myself that it's so critical for us to be authentic and to show our vulnerabilities, because it's in that, right, that we open ourselves up to getting the assistance of other people. And the bottom line is, guys and gals, everybody needs help right now. Everybody. We all do.
We do.
I'm leaning more on people in my life right now than I ever have. And I think it's, and the cool thing is that they are there to let me lean on them. So don't forget the importance of that, to be willing to lean on people, to show your vulnerability, and then also be there to allow people to lean on you. Because if you'll lean on others, it'll give you the opportunity to be strengthened so that other people can lean on you. So Trisha, thank you so much for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure, and some great nuggets of knowledge, and love the emotion and the passion, and thank you for your
Love
time.
you, friend.